It's Wes. Welcome to this video. Today we're going to talk about the Canon R5 and R6, two new cameras that came out. Last week they were announced in Canon's live stream event, and I'm going to give you my impressions about whether they make sense for me and tell you a little bit about the specs. All right, let's get into it. You're a beautiful person and you're a good person. And if no one has told you that today, let me be the first one to tell you that. All right, I have to be honest. I just purchased my second Canon EOS R in the beginning of this year, like January, February, and I'm not in the market for a new camera. I have two EOS Rs. They work out great in terms of filmmaking. They work out amazingly for YouTube. I love working them, taking them to events and shooting both cameras at the like weddings and events like that, where you need two cameras, two different lenses to kind of capture moments and be ready with two different camera setups. Love it. However, it makes sense to pay attention to what Canon's doing, because I bought into the R line. I bought into the R lenses. I have the 35 and the 15 to 35 that I own. I have access to other lenses through work. But I have to consider, what is Canon doing, and should I be a part of these new cameras? Should I pick one up? Should I rent one? Should I buy one? And so I'm going to tell you kind of some pros and cons that occur to me. Usually, to be honest, I script all my videos and I write them out. Sometimes I even use a teleprompter to help me not miss points, which is why sometimes on certain videos I'm talking fast, is I'm just trying to deliver the most information in the least amount of time. But today I'm just going to talk from the heart, and really why I'm going to talk from the heart is my good buddy Pablo. He runs a channel called Buenos Dias Imagery. You should go check it out. He does film photography and Canon EOS R stuff. He has been away in South Carolina on a summer vacation. He came back and we got a chance to hang out today, and he recently made a video about what these cameras mean to him, and so you can watch that up here. And as we were talking about it, he was kind of like, well, what's your take on it? And I, it felt good just to talk to a person about what my, another photographer, another filmmaker, about what my thoughts are. And I have a couple of thoughts. One, which is, I really learned this from Pablo's video, is the R5, though it has 8K, and we know it has 4K 120, and there might be some overheating issues with that. The second card slot, which has kind of been the complaint why the R is not a professional camera, the second card slot is CF Express card, and a very sizable card of that type costs like 500, 600 bucks. And the reason you need a sizable card is because if you're recording in 8K, for example, or 4K, you would need a big card to hold those files. And so you have the cost of the camera, which was already $3,800, and we have the cost of the CFast to handle those bigger file types, and then that puts a bigger burden on that. And then also you have the cost of upgrading your computer to edit 8K or to keep up with 4K. Now, I typically don't shoot in 4K even, because the EOS R has a crop, and I just like to keep it 1080, and I use the lenses and I get the composition that I want out of the lenses. Putting the crop in there complicates things, and I have to shoot further back, and I have a lot of wide angle lenses. So I tend to like to shoot close up and wide angle. That's my style, more documentary, journalistic style, get close to the subject. And so I tend not to even use the 4K on the R, though I have at times. So for me, 8K doesn't make sense because of the extra memory and the extra computer power, which means extra dollars, which means extra investment. And that may not be the right reason for everybody, but that's my story. And just happens this time of year. We are kind of saving up for a house. We're going to buy a house, and that's where my primary focus is, around finances. And so I have two cameras I'm perfectly happy with. And so the R5 doesn't make sense because it's not only the higher price model, but it has other features that might be benefits, but they also come with a higher expense for the increased computer power to edit 8K, and the increased cost of the memory card, the CFast card, CF Express card. Whew. So that's off my chest. The R5 is not for me. I love it for stills. I think that would be the reason I get it, but I'm not really doing any huge, large prints that I would need that kind of detail. I've printed some stuff that are very simply, throw it in Google Photos, and then in Google Photos you can just click and say order, and it goes to a CVS and gets printed. So I've done some of that stuff for around the house. Super easy, super convenient, and the print quality is great based off of what I've been doing with the R. Okay, which that now takes us to the R6. Now, is the R6 right for me? So in terms of the R, it's an upgraded video camera, or video abilities. The video capabilities are higher than what the R offers. And the key thing would be you can do 4K 60 frames per second or 1080 120 frames per second. And as a filmmaker, those extra tools are really attractive to me. So the $24.99 price has me kind of curious. I do though, I have seen some specs that don't quite make sense to me. And it's true, upcoming firmware upgrade might take care of it, but I saw that, and actually I was talking to Tony Mellinger on Instagram. He has a video about the R5 and R6. You can see those up here. Some of the video specs didn't quite make sense to him as a camera to invest in. So I asked him about what that was. And it's the R6 shoots in IPB format only. It doesn't shoot in all-I. And from my knowledge, the all-I has a higher bit rate, which means there's more data being captured, and it's a higher quality image. So the EOS R actually has a better quality video coming in at 1080p. Now, if you go to 4K, then the R has a crop and the R6 does not. So right there, I mostly shoot in 1080, and I have access to the Ninja, and I can do 10-bit 422 C-Log on the Ninja. So off the bat, the R6 doesn't seem to be that appealing either. However, I do like the fact that it's a 20 or 21 megapixel sensor. And the reason for that is that, so comparing the R5, which has like a 40 some megapixel, 45 megapixel sensor, and the R6, which has a 20, so it sounds like this one is more powerful and would do better in all circumstances. But the way it works is that the pixels are broken up in such a way that if you have lower megapixels, it actually means the pixels that detect the light are larger. And so because the sensor is the same size, but it's just how many pixels are on the sensor. So it actually means that the lower megapixel camera is better in low light. That's my take on it. So I think the R6 would be a better film video camera in low light than the R5, and it would be attractive for that. It would be attractive for that. Yeah. However, I have two cameras I'm happy with, and really that's the end of story. It's time to shoot, create, make content, and just keep churning it out. And at any point down the road that I want to invest, maybe sell one of the R's and upgrade, I can do that. So that's it for me. I hope you've enjoyed this video. This is just my take on what's going on with Canon. I definitely am in it for the long haul with the R, the RF lenses. I love the glass. I love shooting with this. I'm definitely gonna rent an R5 and maybe the R6 too, and just try that out. But I am happy where I am. And that's the thing, is you get pulled into all this hype and excitement, and it's always, there's so many reasons to get a new camera. It's exciting. But I have to ask myself, do these cameras have anything which will make me be able to perform at a higher level? Is there anything holding me back with the R? And I would say right now, no. I haven't pushed the boundaries of this camera. I haven't tested its limits. And what those cameras have to offer, which is more than the R, is not anything that's really holding me back right now. So that's it for me. Just being honest. Hope you appreciate that. Tell me your thoughts. Are you gonna get the R5 or the R6? I'm happy with the R. I wish I could just say, yeah, I'm getting it, and there's so much kind of ego involved in having the latest and greatest, and I just gotta say right now, I'm happy where I am. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Click like, leave me a comment. Thank you so much. See you in the next video. Peace.